So, our founder, creator of EzyTRX, he is right here. He's the guy who has built incredible teams, incredible downlines in his time in network marketing, and now he has introduced this great new opportunity, a diamond of the matrix, to us. So, without further ado, let me bring on Mr. Nicklaus de Cruz, live from Ukraine. Are you guys ready? Raise your hands if you're ready. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm speaking to you from this gorgeous property out here in Kiev, out in the Ukraine. You could say it's like the Versailles of Europe. You can say it's the most luxe version you can imagine of something out here in Vegas. It looks like one of these great Scottish lands that you find beautiful palaces and, you know, extraordinary land. It's sitting on hundreds of hectares. Huge amounts of land, great potential. It's a country, I think, that has got enormous opportunity ahead. It's one of the key reasons I'm here today. Actually, I'm here for a week to explore different relationships that we can build, potentially to add to the business that we're all involved in. We want to make EzyTRX a powerful opportunity for everyone. And one of the important stages as we move forward is to find additional value that can go back to members. So if you can imagine yourself as owners of something like this, then we've got the opportunity to monetize it and return some value to members. And that's kind of what I've got, you know, toying around in my head, because I think this is exactly the way we should be going. We've got the smart contract that can look after you and me. We've got the ability to ensure that our assets are protected, that dividends that may be of any potential will go back to you, because you can't run from the smart contract. I think it is something that is incredibly smart. It's something that I'm really passionate about at this point. This is the time of COVID. Traveling is incredibly tough, as you know. I don't want to be catching anything. You know, I've got my trusty mask over here. So, but again, you know, you can't avoid it. It's spiraling out of control in Europe, as you know. Lots of people are more laissez-faire about this, and I come from a more anal retentive country where we're running with 0 cases. So I think to me it's a big sacrifice, but I think we've got to act fast. We've got to do something that brings the opportunity quickly to you, to ensure that your time isn't wasted, your money isn't wasted, it's put to good use. That's foremost on my mind. That's kind of what I'm looking. Here is, I think, you know, this whole project, this piece of land, the building that's been made. By the way, it is brand new. It hasn't been, it's not even completed yet. It is close to completion, so maybe 6 months to a year. You've got an art gallery over there. You've got the main house that is over there, and it extends way into the back, right down to the river. There are 30 presidential suites that can be built into this place. You can build an entire underground casino that will be traversing the entire property. Plus, you can have a full auditorium that can hold 1,000 people. You can have every major artist that can come here. I hear it's a great opportunity to film a Bond movie. We're all talking about Bond today. There's a huge spa. It's a dedicated spa facility at the back. Beautiful river, you can have horses, and then there's plenty of land to be building 18 holes, 36 holes, as much as 72 holes out here for a golf resort. And then you can build another 150 room hotel in the back, again something more luxurious. It's something we're just looking at, you know. It's not something we're going to be doing right away, but again, just want to give you a taste of what's out there. And Ukraine, I think, is kind of at the bottom of the property cycle. If you understand property cycles, they go 20 years. If you buy it at the wrong portion of the cycle and you buy it close to the top, you know, you do have a 20-year wait for it to hit bottom. If you buy it at the top and your value of your property starts to decline, then you're suffering a 20-year decline. So getting in at the right time is really, really critical. Property over here is easily 10 times cheaper than what you'd find throughout Europe, maybe 15, 20 times cheaper than what you'd find out in many parts of Asia. Again, I think opportunity is right at this time. And as I said, you know, this is kind of one of the key reasons as to why I made the trip out to the Ukraine.
Kyiv, and you know, it looks like the Versailles of Kyiv. So he will speak a little bit more about it. Nicklaus, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Ooh. Hello.
Hi, my surprise interview who just walked across my screen.
Hi Nicklaus, how are you? Talk to everyone.
I'm really good. Thank you very much, Lisa. Appreciate that so much. I hope everyone's good. I hope you all had a great Halloween. It was, it's kind of, what is it? It's party season. It feels like party season. It is over here in Kyiv. Nobody's got masks on. Everyone's having a great time. People can't be bothered. It is very, very different. In Singapore, if you stepped out of your house without the mask, it's a $300 fine. If you chose to fight the police who decide to fine you, then it is jail time. So they take it pretty seriously, and that's why we've got probably 0 cases versus, I don't know, what's it? It's over 100,000 in Europe. It's over 100,000 in the US per day. It's an incredible number. So I don't know where the world's heading. It's not looking very good for all of us. The UK has gone into a month-long lockdown through to December. I think that's to give people a bit of hope that at least they might be able to open up for Christmas. Everyone's worried about Christmas. Spain's in a 6-month lockdown through to May of next year. I can't even fathom that. That's depressing. It's hard for people to fathom, so I don't know. It's very, very tough times indeed. And it seems odd, I'm in a party place, and ironically I feel that's a little bit like EzyTRX. We've got a business that seems to be going really well. It's roaring, everybody's happy. We're all making a little bit of money. At least it's enough to pay our bills. And that's the thing that always worries people when you're out of a job, no potential for business, things aren't going well. And if you come from a country where there's not enough government support, everyone needs, some help. I mean, not just you as an individual. I mean, businesses need support. Airlines need support, and the fact is we're all, I think, starving for a little bit of help. So, I hope we keep our heads down and focus on what we have in front of us. Don't get distracted by everything else that we see. And if you concentrate, you focus, and you build what you have, then I think that opportunity of making sure you can at least make ends meet can happen for you. And one of the most exciting things in the past weekend, of course, is the fact that Bitcoin has now hit $14,000. It's hovering at that mark. It's gone up just past 14. It's now just below 14. I think it seems to have strong fundamentals at 13.7, 13.600. So it's looking quite good. I was reading an article on the feedback from this investor, Ron Paul, who says he expects Bitcoin to be the digital asset that you have to hang on to. It is a gift from the future, something that you must participate in. It's not going away. It is now here. It is firmly entrenched. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been interacting with people who still aren't clear about cryptocurrency. They aren't clear about, whether it's real. They don't understand why governments want to clamp down on it. They don't. They feel, it's unregulated and therefore it's unsafe. which is really the contrary. Because it's unregulated, because it is decentralized. I think that's the reason why we ought to be hanging on to it. Now, one of the things in that article talks about the potential of Bitcoin being $1 million per Bitcoin. The fact that this can be a $10 trillion economy. And, I think it's hard to predict. You can't really tell the future, but you certainly can understand the value that digital currency has for all of us, because we're involved in this. We deal particularly in Tron. We're in with Tron and we're out with Tron, and that's what we're doing. But because there's so much flexibility, we can and if we decide, well, listen, I don't really like to hang on to Tron. I'm not so sure what the future is going to be like, and so forth. And nobody's going to blame you. Come up with a strategy. I've got a friend who's got a strategy where he's 50% in and 50% out, which means you earn 100 Tron, he's 50% out, and he converts it immediately to USDT or to BTC, and 50% stays with Tron because he believes that Tron has a good future. You decide what suits you, because nothing's stopping you from taking 100% out, swapping it instantly, and you can swap it daily, right? There's nearly no cost. It's so negligible. Swap it and keep it in a currency that you're more comfortable with. And the way Bitcoin is going, it's not a bad place to be. Most of the big currencies are also following the same trend. So Ethereum is up, Ripple is up, I think Litecoin is up. So it's all very positive at this point. US elections are around the corner. It'll be all done and dusted in about 2 days, and then who knows? We've got potential of Trump being re-elected, and different people have their point of view as to what can happen if Trump wins, or if it goes Biden's way. But whatever happens, you can rest assured it will have a significant impact on the economy, not just the US, because it'll affect the stock market, it'll affect their economy, but it has a ripple effect, and it'll affect everyone else around the world. So it's something you have to keep your eyes on. You've got to pay attention to what's happening in the US, because remember, the media rules, the Western media rules the world. They dictate what's going on, and all of us follow the state of the economy and the state of affairs and the state of politics, and it's very, very loud these days. So it's hard to avoid. It's a bit of a contrast to China. If you think about it, China just chugs along, and everything's all closed doors, and no one really knows what's happening, and all the media is controlled. So it's a single voice, and there's no cacophony of noise to disrupt you and disorientate you. So it's very different. I'm here in Ukraine because I think what I would like to do, together with some of the big leaders that have a vested interest in the direction of our business, well, I shouldn't say business, but the direction that EzyTRX should head. And we are looking at opportunities to add on to the smart contract. Now, we've had a couple of setbacks last week. We actually launched a new website, and we had to reverse that launch and go back to the original website because for some reason the simplest thing, like the bell icon, couldn't be seen by the Chinese teams, in China itself, where there was an issue with the mobile, where there's an issue with the internet. If you remember me saying, whatever we do, we want to do it really, really carefully, and we will take our time. We're not in a hurry. We don't want to go launch something and then have it crash and burn and cause disruption. So we switched it back right away, and I think it was a decision. Many people wanted the new features, and so I do apologize that we've had to make that reverse, but we will re-implement it. But this time around, because there was a bit of feedback in terms of the colors, a lot of people didn't like the deep red deep blood red Halloween themed color that we had. So I think we're going to have to make that change. So we're going to send around 3 or 4 designs and color themes that we think, as you know, we've got a group of ambassadors. We'll see what the ambassadors vote, and we'll select a color that everyone's happy with, and then I think we can relaunch it. I would like to say it may take a few days, but you know, I think to be safe, maybe a week and a half. Now the second thing is the funnel. The funnel will be up and running on Tuesday. You know, very oddly, so I think we had some feedback from someone that said, oh, you know, there's some copy in the text that we had, and so, you know, the person made some noise. But honestly, this is marketing. The text is all the same. You know, would you like to make X amount of dollars, and this is how you do it, and then this is the sequence, and all funnels are going to be the same, all of them. So, you know, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're taking something that is a really important tool and making sure all of you can use it to your advantage. And that's something that's really important for us. So we'll have this up and running for you. I believe Tuesday at the latest, so please look out for it. That's a very, very, very important product. Once it's out, again, we will begin instructionals. We will train you on the Zoom calls. We will make sure there are tutorial videos, and you will know how to use it, because it is complex. Mind you, EzyTRX to some of us is really easy. You have some Tron in your wallet, you have an upline, you register, you pay 1,000 Tron, and you're in. It's technically easy, but for some people it is a nightmare. It can take days and days. They need to buy Tron. That's an issue, right? Where do they get it? How do they get it? Where can they buy it from? What exchange? How do they get the money from the bank into an exchange? And all kinds of issues like that kind of happen. So it's a whole exercise. So this funnel, I believe, might be a little bit complex for some people, but please make an effort to learn, because it's very, very important for you. Then I think one of the other interesting items that we must get out to you next week is the prepaid card. So we're going to start the prepaid card first as a virtual MasterCard. So what that means is you'll have, you know, a little bit like some of you have GrabPay and UberPay, and if you're in India, you got Paytm, and if you're in, you know, in Philippines, you've got GCash, and you know, there are all manner of how can I forget WeChat Pay and Alipay, right? You know, we've got all manner of electronic payments today, and so this will be our well, for all of you, this will be your version of an electronic payment system, except it's going to be tied to MasterCard. So you'll get an electronic card. The card will essentially allow you to shop online and make payments, and on and on and on. Everything you can do with a MasterCard, you'll be able to do with this card. So I think that's something that we're excited to get to you. The cost of the card, I think there's an initial fee of, I think it's $8 or $10 or $12 or something along those lines. But I think that's a singular fee. I don't know if there's a maintenance fee, but maintenance fee might be $1 or $2, if at all. And the good news is that you can top up that card with Tron. So the advantage is whatever you've made in the system, you can now take it out of the exchange and place it into your prepaid card. It's a little bit like having a cold wallet, you know, except your cold wallet. And if some of you don't know what a cold wallet is, it's a hardware device that you store your private key in, you store your crypto in, and you lock into your safe. And once you do that, then you don't lose the key to your safe, and you try never to get that cold wallet lost or stolen. But this is a little bit different. It similar but different. You're taking it out of your Tron wallet and you're placing it into your prepaid card wallet. So it'll be with your MasterCard. Now there will be 2 levels of KYC. First allows you for about $3,000 in total load, and that means what you can actually place into the card each time. And the second level is a lot higher. It'll be a $200,000 load. So I will get details to you in the next few days, but I think it's something that is a really essential tool for all of you to have. And we're quite excited for all members to, have access to this. So I would very much like to invite my, was supposed to be a surprise guest, but my surprise guest, as you know, you've heard him all the time, my one and only Nadeem. So, sorry, yes.
Hello, Nadeem. Nice to see you as well from Ukraine.
Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. And, you guys just saw me limping a little bit. Just a few weeks ago, I had a bit of a fall for which I had to take a break. But the good news is that I'm walking back on my feet. And I've come all the way to Ukraine to see this special person for EzyTRX. And honestly, I am really, really excited. And I'm really surprised with what things we've seen here. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think this trip is worth coming over. Obviously, because Nick was here. It was a long time that we didn't get a chance to discuss a lot of things. So we're just ironing down a lot of stuff. And he had his card bid was just a surprise for me. But I didn't even know that it's actually coming out next week. So I think that is something fantastic. And I think the things that Nick is looking at right now, the options. Just give me that. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me now? Lisa? Okay. So, the main purpose to come here, obviously, Ukraine is a land of opportunities. And Nick here had some really important and special people that were coming up with a lot of things. Obviously, it cannot be communicated at this stage, but because everything is in discussion, in the pipeline. But I think in the due course, being the promoter of this company, I think I feel really confident that we are associated with someone like Nick, because he really is looking forward to make this massive. And I think the only thing I can tell you is the people right now working for EzyTRX, continue the way you are doing, because the bigger team that you're going to have, I'm telling you, the new products and the new introduction of things, you will be benefiting the most. Don't really get disappointed or slow down because of people around you or things happening around you, because this platform is something which is just the beginning. As I said to you before as well many times, it's a very start, and I think we're just starting to warm up a little bit, just getting things in place. I think probably from at least about 4 to 6 weeks from now, things are going to be very different, and there would be nobody in this whole market that will be able to say that EzyTRX is a copy or of anything, because it will be the only one having a lot of things. The only thing I remember, I was just looking at some statistics. Everybody here knows Forsage. Forsage actually boomed, if you remember, in the first lockdown that happened. And now it's the second lockdown coming up, mostly in all parts of the world. UK is starting it next week. The whole Europe has, Spain has, all the countries are. I think even US after the elections, definitely they will be considering that. And this entire period from now until Christmas is going to be more or less the lockdown. And I think this here is again another opportunity, thank you, for us, all of us here, to make the most of this, because we'll be obviously locked at home and there will be nothing else to do apart from that. Everybody else is struggling, and we'll be struggling in this time, especially when the festive season begins in Christmas. We need to make some money for ourselves, for our families, and at least have something, good. So I think really this is the opportunity to not miss. I really want to thank all the leaders that are working so hard: Eric, Jenny, Brian, Alam, Ansel, all the leaders. If I'm forgetting your names, please don't think I've missed you. It's just, all the teams from Japan, from Dubai, from Pakistan, from UK, South America, my brother Carlos, Simon, Becky, Ken, Louis, every single person, thank you so much for all the hard work that you guys are putting in. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. and we have been consistent from day one till now. It's been consistently growing. We're not, I wouldn't say we are shooting high and then going down, but we are consistently moving upwards. We had some really top meetings this week with some top leaders from India. There's a guy called Shekhar that I spoke with. He's got a team of 500,000 people in a product-based business. He's already in. He's moving into this business now. So, in the background, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. And I know people just keep looking at the track record of the website, but but there's a lot of things that are happening in the background, I think, which will change the face of this whole system in the coming time. And I think with the introduction of the card, the funnel, the products that Nick is looking at, and all the other things that are happening, the academy is coming up. And there's a lot more things, that I know of now, but obviously I cannot discuss until it's all been ironed out. So there's many things that are happening and many things that are coming. All I can say is that all the guys, all the 20,000 people in the system right now, you can actually look for a career at EzyTRX, because we will not be leaving any single market space out there, whether it's trading, whether it's crypto, whether it's Forex, whether it's products, whether it's anything that you can think of. We will be there in every single space. And I think if you guys stick around with EzyTRX, you will be a part of everything. And trust me, you will be making money from all the spaces that we just spoke about, from every single member that you've joined in the market, in the system. Safely, yes, very important. Very, very safely. Not looking at any, rocket percentages. There's also something that Nick is looking at, some investment products, etc., which are going to be very, very safe, which will be backed up by the governments, etc. So all that is being planned. But as you know, Rome was not built in one day. It takes time to materialize everything, to iron down everything, to ensure that everything is properly done. It takes time. So you guys need to be patient, one by one. I think he's already working on the roadmap as well for you to know what's coming when. That will take about probably a month's time to be released, because everything needs to be discussed and we know what's going to happen. So I leave you with that note, guys. Ukraine is a fantastic city, although the weather is not that great at the moment. But I think, yes, this city, you got to be associated with a lot in the future. And I think Eric was supposed to come this weekend, but he hasn't. So I'm really not happy about that. But we hopefully will see him. We are here for another few days, so hopefully we see him before we leave. So with that, I'll just pass it back to Nick and let him continue. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Nadeem.
All right. Thank you, Nadeem. I really appreciate that. Lisa, shall I hand it back to you? The screen is so far away from me. I can't see how many people on the call. I can't see what the questions might be.
Yeah, we can barely hear you.
Really?
You're so soft.
Oh, no. Even now?
We can hear you, but soft.
You're lucky you can even hear me at all, right? The Wi-Fi here is so bad. It's so bad. So, I don't know if there are questions that have come from the audience or anything like that. But that's roughly my update for this week. Nadeem did speak about a roadmap. This is something that we are in particular very concerned about, because we want to make sure everyone is aware of what's going to happen 6 months down the line, a year down the line, even 3 years down the line. This is a business that doesn't need to close, that has genuine sustainability. Some people we've got lots of ideas that have come from different members. And I want to tell you, we listen to everything. And, as I said, the key driver for us is longevity. I think the secondary driver has to be safety. So these two things will be our driving force to ensure that all of you can, put all your effort in a network that has a long lifespan, but that can genuinely make you money, not just for yourself, but for the people and your network that you bring with you. I've said many times, all of you are powerful networkers. I mean, you listen to some of the leaders speak. They have strength, they have power, they have conviction, and people follow them. And their only downfall will be a network that always lets them down, right? And through no fault of their own. They've brought in people. I've just got another request today. Nick, this network is closed. Can you please help us to cash out? We're going to send you some crypto. We're it took them, I don't know, 2 weeks before they closed. So you get all kinds of stuff out there, and all kinds of businesses that promise you incredible returns. Please, keep your eyes open. Again, even if we decided we wanted to put something in that had some kind of an ROI, some kind of dividend, especially, we'll tell you clearly how it can be achieved. It can never be fixed, and it should never be fixed. It can't be, 1% a day or 30% a month or some ridiculous number like that. But there can be opportunities where we can share some wealth from businesses that we get involved in. And I will spell it out clearly so that everyone understands what we're doing, but my entire experience has been that of an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years, way more than I've been a networker. And so I understand at least that aspect. I've been part of what is known as the Entrepreneurs Organization, which has 150 chapters around the world. I've been the president for 2 years, and I know businesses all around the world, and I understand exactly the dangers of business as well. Please remember, as much as 98% of networks close, 98% of businesses close. In this pandemic, you can see for yourself, not even the fault of the business. Many of them have to wind up. We've just had a 163-year-old company in Singapore close down just 2 days ago. It's so sad, for all the employees to just find out. I think it was a Friday. I think it was a Friday. They were just told, that's it, the company is closed. They immediately placed in liquidation. 163-year-old business. So, it's even business is tough. So whatever it is we do, we want to be very careful. We want to make sure we don't overpromise. We have to make sure we also at least underpromise and overdeliver, if anything. But again, safety, longevity, these are two really important things. And a lot of what we're doing is self-generated. And so we're going to work along those same lines so that we're not dependent on outside parties to feed us. And I'll explain all of that, when the time is right. So with that, I do want to thank you, and thank you, Nadeem, for flying down to Ukraine. I've got a crazy story about my trip to the Ukraine. It was supposed to take me 24 hours. It ended up taking me 48 hours. I flew into Ukraine. I had to fly back out and then fly back in again. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. This flying in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
Don't travel unless it's necessary. Traveling in the middle of COVID is different. What you see on the website isn't necessarily what's on the ground. All kinds of random situations happen. Some people say you need a COVID test. Some people say you don't, and on and on. So, don't travel. Did I wear I wore my I can't put my mask on now and talk. I'll suffocate. But yes, I'm wearing my very, very pretty mask. So thank you so much, everyone. It's great seeing you, and please stay in touch. If there's any messages, any questions you have, please ask. You can reach out to anyone now. You can easily reach out to, for example, and Eric can reach out to Lisa. Lisa can reach out to me. It's so reach out to us. We're always available. And please remember, log into Facebook and join Facebook groups. EzyTRX's official group. It's really important. We're, I think, up to only 400 members now. We got to get up to 14 or 18,000, right? We keep growing so fast. So please join Facebook group so we can reach you and keep you updated. That's really important for us. So signing off from Kyiv. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Nick and Deem, for coming aboard live with us from Ukraine. Good to hear an update from you, of course. We're all worried for you. You're traveling in the middle of COVID, and not everyone does that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special speaker. to come aboard with us. I've known her from Singapore and Hong Kong. We worked together on projects together in Macau as well. She's from the US, but she has traveled and lived in London, Dubai, Singapore, and Hong Kong. She's a global traveler. She's a woman in crypto. Definitely someone I look up to. So ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome aboard Miss Nikita Sachdev. Hi Nikita.
Hi Lisa, how are you?
Good to see you again after so long.
Good to see you. Thanks for the intro.
Everyone, this is Nikita. She's in Houston right now, so I'm sure there are some of you who are you're from Dallas and you're from Houston, that part of the world, that part of the US. And you can always link up with Nikita because she's in H-Town.
For sure. Yeah, I'm in Houston right now, and also traveling a bit during COVID, which is not safe. I do not recommend it, but yeah, it is what it is.
I saw that you traveled to Dubai.
Yes, I did. I went there for blockchain conference. Actually, I was surprised that they were having a blockchain conference during COVID, but yeah, I had to go there and represent one of my clients. So yeah, I see on the comments someone is asking if I am from India, but yes, my dad is Indian.
Yeah, Nikita is Indian, but she's from the US.
Yeah.
Like I'm Chinese, but I'm from Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So Nikita, tell us, you're a global traveler, but it's obviously great to be back home. And you're a woman in crypto, right? And I'm a woman in crypto, and we kind of have similar backgrounds. We both started modeling. So guys, Nikita owns a modeling agency. So if you ever need models, hit her up. She has offices in Dubai, London, Singapore, and New York. So please tell me about your story as well. How did you go from modeling to
Yeah, so it's a very funny story. So I actually went to Singapore with my dad about over 10 years ago, and my dad was working there, and I decided to do my second degree there. So I have a degree in chemistry here from the University of Texas, and then decided I actually wanted to get into business. So when I got to Singapore, my dad was like, I paid for your first degree, so pay for your second degree. And I did that through modeling. I was a commercial model. I did campaigns for Lux, Vaseline, Pond's, you name it, everything. And I traveled the world, went to Mongolia, Sri Lanka, all these exotic places, Brunei. It was amazing. But it wasn't something that I saw myself doing long term. So I came back to Singapore, opened up a modeling agency, expanded that to production events. And then finally, I felt like there was something else that I needed to do. So I started Luna PR, which offers marketing and PR services. So that's my baby now. I don't really focus so much on the modeling agency anymore. Every now and again, I do take up some really cool projects, but my main focus is now Luna PR marketing for crypto and blockchain. So yeah.
Everyone, I just want to play that video really quickly, the one that she was mentioning, the one with Lux.
Yeah, that was
Just wait. Okay guys, so that was Nikita. So this is her Instagram if you ever want to follow her. She's Nikita Sachdev5 on Instagram. Okay, I'm just going to stop the share right now. You can see all her posts, like global traveler, Houston, London, Dubai, New York, Singapore, everywhere, all over the place. And Macau, of course, because we were in Macau together. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share. Nikita, I have a few more questions for you. So I remember, we have a lot of mutual friends in Singapore and Hong Kong, and I remember your last keynote speech, you actually spoke about being a presenter in a crypto project, and you're reading off the teleprompter. You're reading lines like ICO, blockchain, and then someone said something about if you bought Bitcoin about 8 years ago, it would have been a few cents, and you will be a millionaire by today, right? So tell me about your story then. Like, you went home and did some research.
Yeah, so that's how I got into crypto. Basically, as I said, I had my modeling agency and I was modeling myself. And one of the gigs that we had was, we had opened more verticals. As I mentioned, we had expanded. So we were offering production, hostesses, models, talents. So we had a very strange request. A client called and said, I need a Russian, Korean, Mandarin, Japanese, and English host to do a video, and this is a script. So I went through the script. It felt like a different language, but I did my job, took them to the studio, put the script on a teleprompter, and the hostesses translated it into their own languages. I was the English host, and I was just confused, and all the hostesses were like, how do I translate ICO into Korean? Or how do I say blockchain in Mandarin? And this was 4 years ago when it was so new. Yeah. So everyone was like really confused. I was like, I have no idea. So I went to the CEO and I was like, all right, I need some help here. What is an ICO? What is Bitcoin? What is crypto? He was like, oh, he gave me a small example, and he's like, oh, and by the way, if you invested in Bitcoin in 2009, today, $100 would make you a millionaire. And that was it. I was like, whoa, done. So I opened a Coinbase account and I started putting in, a few, $100 here, $100 there. And that's how it started. That's how I got into crypto.
Nice. Thank you, Nikita, for sharing that story. One of the things you mentioned during the keynote speech was the technology of blockchain and how it actually helps women. So a lot of women in, of course, in countries like the US and in Singapore, where we have good governance, it's a stable country, it's a good country, we're in the first world, we are living in a, wealthy country, I'll say. So we don't have problems with currencies, we don't have problems with, the devaluation of our dollar. And, it doesn't inflate to insane amounts, like countries like Venezuela, when you have, the value of the dollar, it's just insane, you know what I mean? So I remember you saying something about the technology of blockchain can actually help women in such countries, especially because we're both women in crypto.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, I just want to say that, blockchain can help everybody, not just women. It's men and women equally. But I think when I was speaking about this women in blockchain specifically, I was focusing on women because it can empower them so much in these, especially in third world countries where the times are a bit backward still. Like I know India, like where my roots are from. There are a lot of women that still don't own bank accounts, and they're just not empowered and encouraged to do so. It's just a culture. And so I feel like, we've come to a day and age where everybody owns smartphones, and, crypto payments and, online payments can now be done over smartphones. And one of the major issues is right now is the unbanked. I mean, the amount of unbanked, I forgot the number, but it's somewhere between 30 to 40% of the world, which is unbanked, which is ridiculous if you think about it. What crypto can do to people is, allow them to own some kind of asset without needing a bank. And it's kind of like an endless cycle that like blockchain and crypto solves. I mean, to own a bank, you need an ID. But what if you don't have an ID? You don't need an ID if, with crypto, or blockchain is now solving these issues. So it solves like short-term issues and long-term issues, where like short-term issues will be like, you can own crypto, and allowing mass adoption will allow people to, pay with day-to-day things via crypto. But on the long term and the bigger scale, I mean, it will help. Imagine like people that cannot get that don't have banks because they don't have IDs, or they don't have any, you know, any birth certificate even, you know, at least with the blockchain.
Saying something about a birth certificate, like your dad doesn't even have a birth certificate.
Yeah, like I say that because I experienced it firsthand with my own dad. Like we were in Singapore for 10 years and he wanted to get a permanent residency and they wanted his birth certificate. And my dad grew up in the slums, to be honest. Like he has no idea which hospital, like it probably doesn't even exist anymore. Wow. You know, so it was kind of funny. He's come a long way, you know. He's you know.
Yeah, I saw that your dad owns like a oil tanker or something. Like he owns a whole ship.
He's in shipping, oil and gas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it's just ridiculous that, you know, why?
Wow, the growth
like he couldn't get a permanent residency because he didn't have a birth certificate because that hospital doesn't exist anymore, you know. That's why they say it's a rich man's world.
I mean, I want to agree but also disagree. It's a man's world, but it will be nothing without a woman or a girl. You know that song.
Sure. And crypto is changing. I think blockchain will really create big change towards that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that keynote speech, watching it over and over again.
Oh, thank you.
Because you were also in a panel of women, right?
And I gave a speech in 2018. The number was 5% of women own Bitcoin. But, you know, that number is changing drastically now. I think it's, you know, we're seeing more women come into the space, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I remember there was I read somewhere that you were paying models with Ethereum, so they were forced to learn crypto. I
tried. I really tried. I was just like, we accept crypto in our modeling agency, but nobody knew what it was. I think it was still a bit early on as well. It was about 3 years ago. I did some really funky stuff back then. I don't know what. Anything crypto related, I was down. There was one project I did where it was like Ethereum inspired makeup where
I saw that video. You know what? I made an Ethereum-inspired hair video.
Really? How do you do that? It was like with the Ethereum-inspired makeup. I went to the studio and the guy was like, "Just do something with Ethereum." And I'm like, how do I do Ethereum on my makeup? But then I was like, you know what? I might just draw the Ethereum symbol on my eye.
Have you ever noticed that the logo for Ethereum kind of looks like the Sims diamond that's on the head?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So funny.
Oh, I love that.
Okay. Nikita, do you know anything about smart contracts? Because this platform EzyTRX kind of runs on smart contracts. So tell us what you know about it.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's fantastic what smart contracts have done for the world. I mean, you know, compared to traditional contracts where, you know, it takes about 1 to 3 days, smart contracts can be done in minutes. It's automatic remittance instead of manual, you know, and it's done for a fraction of the cost. Plus, not to mention, you know, there's no necessity for any, you know, human touch in the middle. I mean, it's all done through, you know, lawyers are not necessary basically. So, but I think that it brings a lot of credibility.
Yeah. Okay. So this platform, EzyTRX, it runs entirely on smart contracts. So it's great that you know a little bit about it. It is a new technology that kind of launched this year. And, you know, I would also like to introduce you to the platform, of course. Yeah, so I'm very proud of you for the collaboration with the United Nations. You know, you can just talk a little bit about it as well.
Sure, yeah. So that was super exciting for me. So through my company, Luna PR, which does marketing, you know, PR advisory, we have a few clients that you know that we help. One client specifically is actually turning waste into renewable energy via, you know, their partners here in Houston, Texas, which is like the energy capital. And they're tracking it via blockchain technology, which gets burnt every time a certain amount of trash gets converted to renewable energy, which is, it's a really fantastic project and super futuristic, but it's not just a vision, because they're actually moving with this. Like they have the facilities that turn the waste into renewable energy. So I loved this project and I was super vested in it. over time, this project got asked to present themselves at the United Nations General Assembly, where being their strategic partners, Luna PR was mentioned as well. And it was really a huge honor because it was the first crypto blockchain project to be presented at the United Nations. And I think, you know, a great aspect was the renewable energy side, but another big aspect was the blockchain side, because it's a new technology for, you know, it's a new technology to be presented at the United Nations. So, you know, that was awesome.
Okay, thank you, Nikita. Of course, I'm very proud of you for being part of that project with the United Nations. It's a, you know, pretty incredible collaboration, and wish you all the best. Wish you all the success.
Thank you so much.
It's great to be a woman in crypto as well. It's good to connect.
For sure. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's always great speaking to you.
Okay, thanks, Nikita. Okay, guys, that is it for today. So we'll just end this call right now. Keep a lookout for the video, and I am glad to see every single one of you who stayed on to the very end of the call tonight. So till then, I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow is Monday, so I'll be there on the English call. Thanks for joining me. Take care and good night, everyone.